Boom, monkeys. Welcome back to the Crypto Boogie channel. I know I have been away for about a week or so, but this week has been freaking ballistic. I did take a little bit of profits on some of my tokens and I rolled them over into another set of tokens. And I'll give you guys a heads up about that shit. Some of the things we are going to cover today. We are going to hit up Bitcoin, a little bit of Hex, the meme coin, Pepe, Illuvium. I do want to do a special token. Well, it's not really that special, but it is a token that you can probably get into and probably flip it for more freaking crypto in the future. Or you can make a position into this token as well at the price value that it's at. And that's going to be AVAX. We are going to cover Pulse Chain, a little bit of PulseX. But first, let's give a shout out to the first person in the chat. And we got my amigo, Smooth Brain. Give us a sauce and the frags. Trust me, man, I do have the fragrance of the day, bro. I think it's a pretty good one. And I've got an explanation as to why I'm going to be rocking this fragrance, even though it is a clone. We got my amigo here, mother freaking Tex-Mex, hardest working trucker in America. Que pasa, Boogie? Bags are starting to get heavy, man. I'm hoping the alpha I've dropped for you cats over these past few couple freaking months has really helped you guys out. And then we got my other buddy here, Sending Man. Boogie, what's up, brother? Que dice, amigo? Que dice? And then we got my other camarada here in Nellyville, Alpha Time. Yes, sir, it is, man. But first, let's hit up the memes. Let's see what the memes entail, monkeys. Vamos a ver qué tenemos con los memes. I got some pretty funny ones today, though. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, I don't get demonetized. Well, not demonetized, but hopefully, I don't get like a freaking, what do you call that, a copyright strike? I may end up getting one. Shout out to Dollar Cost Crypto. He's the one that texted me this meme. So I want to share it with you cats. I think it's pretty damn freaking funny when you're cleaning your burro's back seat and you start to hear the echoes of all the tortas he pounded. Here we go. For you cats that don't know what tortas are, man, they're the heavy set chicks. They're the heavy set chicks in the Hispanic community, man. Ay, ay, ay. So this is not a meme, but I thought it was pretty cool. Warfare, my friend. Freaking convenience, dude. Now, when I was in the Marine Corps, I was in an artillery unit, for you cats that don't know. And freaking artillery units, bro. It's a bitch to freaking lug those suckers around, especially you got the big ass howitzers. Howitzers are those giant cannons, dude. And if this were to happen, and I'm sure there's prototypes out there that they haven't showed us, this is only a freaking illustration of what really they can really use. You know what I'm saying? It would probably lighten up the load and they'd be a lot more precise. I'm sorry, a lot more precise with whichever targets they do want to end up hitting up. I do have one more meme for you cats. That wasn't a meme, but I do have one more that I want to show you guys. And hopefully I don't get copyright strike for this one, dude. This is freaking hilarious, dude. Let me share it with you guys. And forgive me, I lost my voice a little bit there. Now, we got Miss Karen here. And what Karen's doing, she's keeping the owner of a motorcycle from getting his motorcycle. And she is using a deadly weapon or a weapon. This is hilarious, man. This is freaking hilarious.
Lady, I'm stepping away. Lady, I'm stepping away. Okay, drop the taser. Oh my God. Drop it. Turn around. Turn around. You're not taking my bike today, lady. I'm gonna let you have your money and everything, but you're not taking my bike. Just turn around, all right? I'm not looking for your car. Relax. Lady.
And I think what's going on here, cats, I think what's going on here, that individual was rolling in a motorcycle. Let me see. This dude was rolling around on a motorcycle, man. This Karen was offended at the fact that he would use a motorcycle. So he got off the bike one day and she approached him with a taser. And with that freaking taser, she tried to keep the bike from him, not knowing that he had an AK-47 in his backpack. So he freaking retrieved his bike. Now, this is not, I'm not a legal advisor in any of the sense possible. And some states have different laws. But in the state of Texas, you're justified in doing that because technically she did commit a robbery. If you think about it, she's withholding property from him and she's using a deadly weapon from him recovering his property. And she's pointing the taser at him. So he's justified in using the continuum of force and going one level higher of her by utilizing a firearm. Oh my goodness, dude. But that's the rise of the Karens, dude. I LOL'd so freaking hard when I saw that video, bro. So freaking hard, man. You know what I'm saying? Nellyville did enjoy that, by the way. We got my homie Brown, 4'11", 250 pounds. Damn, son. Wow, homie. Tex-Mex. You can hear the echo here in the sleeper of my truck. That's hilarious, dude. Oh my gosh, bro. Sorry about that, cats. My voice is going to be in and out, but nevertheless, let's move forward, man. Let's cover the first coin of the day, which is going to be Bitcoin. And let's move on to that first. Let's see where we got BTC here. Not that one. Let me see. Let me prep it for you, cats. Vamos a ver. So Bitcoin, of course, you guys know that Bitcoin has been moving pretty damn aggressive, if anything, man. And I know a lot of you cats, your bags are pumping, man. I feel sorry for the individuals that are barely onboarding, if anything, man. Bitcoin's current value is exactly at 69,000. And if you look at this wick here on the Bitstamp chart, on approximately March 8th, we did get a high of about, what high is this? Yeah, March 8th, we got a high of about 70,184. So we basically already achieved a new all-time high. One thing I'm noticing as well, that we're slightly scaffolding to the upside. So if you cats can see this, we came up this way, we oscillated sideways, we pumped up, oscillated sideways, and then we ended up rallying. So that in itself is a good form of freaking support and resistance. And it's actually a better area of support and resistance, because when you do come to the upside and you start rallying, not rallying, but you start oscillating sideways, and you start staying in that trend for a couple of days, and then you pump up again, and you oscillate sideways, and then you go up again, you're actually creating a shitload of support and resistance. You could actually even argue, if I grab this triangle freaking doggone tool right here, and you see this big ass yellow line along with a small red line, you can create a little box right there, and you've got all that area of support that you can utilize if Bitcoin ever comes down, which is awesome. And we're getting the same kind of thing here as of recent. And it's badass when you oscillate sideways a couple days and then you end up pumping to the upside, because you actually create a lot of freaking support. Now, if we activate our EMA ribbon, dude, the EMA ribbon is trying to reach Bitcoin's value. And you can see that the EMA ribbon is spreading out significantly, which means you are going to get a lot of volatility. Top portion is yellow, which means that we're bullish. I wish this EMA was green, by the way. And the bottom part was red, so it'd be a little bit more evident. And it entails that we're probably going to continue rallying to the upside. Now, are we overheated? Let's check where we're at on the Bitcoin 60-day cycle. And currently, we're barely at about day 47. Usually around day 45 to about day 60 is when we start freaking. By that time, we've already reached the low that we're going to go to before we're going to start a new cycle. And what I mean is we slightly get a dip. Now, it would not surprise me if we run up all the way to day 60 with all the shit that's coming out right now, all the data that's coming out right now of people investing in the ETFs. And that would be around March 23rd, give or take, when we would hit our 60-day mark before we start dipping again. And I'm assuming that will probably continue this way as we approach the Bitcoin halving, which should be, I think, mid to late April. I don't have the exact date on the top of my head, but if you look at our RSI here at the bottom, it entails that we're still kind of overheated, if anything. You know what I'm saying? And it means that right now would not be a good time to buy a little bit of BTC. So, of course, another top indicator, another indicator is that we're rallying is when your homies and your family start asking you about how to get into Bitcoin and how to get into Ethereum. I remember at work and people from church, they were telling me like, hey man, like I'm not really that interested in Bitcoin. I don't think Ethereum's going to come back. I think we're done. But then when they start asking you again, that pretty much entails that you're starting to get overheated within the cycle. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting a lot of questions from my homies at work, and I'm getting some questions from my family and some people at church, because that in itself is an indicator that we're coming back and we're coming back strong. Now, since I've already showed you cats this chart, let's move on to the other chart, which is also going to be a Bitcoin chart. And I covered this with my last stream last Sunday with Miguel. And it does seem, look at this shit, son, that wave 3, and it did exactly as I had stated it would. Of course, my initial thoughts was that I was going to be down here. But then when we broke past it, I figured we would break past the freaking all-time high, and we may even continue rallying a little bit more before we go into a retracement of wave number 4. We did our 0 to 1 and then our 1 to 2. Now, mind you, 0 to 1 cannot be bigger from 2 to 3. 2 to 3 has to be the biggest wave in an Elliott wave cycle, of course. Now, if we continue bumping to the upside, now, I really don't think, let's look at some of the history. We are at the weekly. I really don't think that we'll come up over here to 119, 121, and then finally retrace on our wave 4 down to about 70,000. I think, if anything, we're due for a retracement sometime soon. And an area where we can come retrace to, believe it or not, would be about 53,340. And if that wave 4 is a little bit more aggressive, you're talking about maybe 49,412, give or take, following this Fibonacci retracement that we do have here. And then we would continue into price discovery into wave 5. So yes, there is a dip coming. I do think that it will be an opportunity to throw money back into the market. But if you're FOMOing pretty hard, there is a token that you can put your dinero into, not financial advice, and use it to cultivate your crypto. Or if you want to, you can even get a small position or a position within this token, but because it's probably going to do very well. And that token I'm talking about, it's going to be AVAX, because AVAX as of late has not been moving. Now, if you look at AVAX current value, we're up $42.94, but we still haven't broken our all-time high yet, and it's kind of been oscillating sideways. And even though it is a little bit overheated, this is one of the tokens you could probably throw your dinero at and make a little bit more money with it and use it to trade some other coins for it, and that may be an option. Now, what cycle are we on with AVAX? If we grab our measuring tool from the current day right now and we pull it back, let me show you cats what I mean. And we pull it back, we did get this dip here, which was about 6 days ago on, oh, my bad. This shit's on the weekly, son. My bad. So currently, let me grab this sucker, delete it, and get a fresh one. Currently, about 6 days ago, we did get a little bit of a dip, and that day was on March 5th. And it may be that that was the day that we finished our last 20-day cycle. So if we grab another measuring tool from that date, we pull it all the way back, you could argue that the last day was around freaking February 21st, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So this may be one of the tokens that you can ape into, throwing a little bit of money in it, and possibly even get a position and use this to go ahead and cultivate your other bags of crypto, or use this to go ahead and move into another different freaking coin if you choose to do so. Now, I do know that Phantom is pretty freaking overheated right now. And let's go over to the Phantom chart. Prep that for you cats. Aquí estamos con Phantom. Now, Phantom, dude, they did significantly well as of recent, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let me share that chart with you cats. Phantom's current value is at about 78 cents. On my crypto.com indicator, which I do have on my phone, it was giving me I think a top of about 85 cents. But crypto.com does tend to hype up the prices a little bit more because they do charge you when you buy the freaking token, and you think it's actually higher than what it really is. You know what I'm saying? But Phantom's value is approximately 78 cents. And we did do this Giga Chat rally to the upside. Now, what I am liking about Phantom is that we are doing a little bit of freaking scaffolding as we came to the upside. If you guys grab this tool here, push this sucker up, you can see that we dipped down and we came back up and we're coming back down again. Now, that is always good because, again, being redundant, that does freaking cause support and resistance for you. So when we do break past this 87 mark, and it will come, and we dip back up there, and we come back down, we have these two candles of support here of about 84 cents, and we also have an area of support of about 87 cents. That is completely healthy with what's going on with Phantom. Now, I had been talking to DCC over the past few couple days, and he had told me, of course, I haven't had a chance to really do the research, but the cats over at the Phantom Foundation, or Michael Kong, he is probably going to be able to get his dinero back from the multi-chain freaking theft that did occur from the people that owned that bridge. And that's probably why we are rallying to the upside, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Now, if this were all green as we rally to the upside, then I would be a little bit more disappointed. Now, I am glad that we did get those freaking red candles because, again, that indicates that we are creating support and resistance. Now, a lot of the other tokens, and we'll hit a Pepe right now, I'm assuming that we got just a shitload of freaking green candles that will rip into the upside. But if we activate our VPVR on Phantom, you can see, and this is on the daily, that we have a shitload of support down here of about 43 cents and then a little bit more here at 41 cents. Now, we do not have as much support and resistance over here to the top side because, of course, we're trying to get back to the all-time highs. And that all-time highs are at approximately $3 and some change. And let me show you cats what I mean. The all-time highs, we're not far from it. It's $3.40 or $3.54. So if we go back down to the daily, there's a couple areas that we do need to beat. Now, let me turn off this VPVR for you cats. There's a couple areas we do need to beat, and the next area is at approximately 87 cents. If we activate our EMA ribbon, we are having a shitload of support here of about 59 cents, and we do need to beat this area of about 87 cents. So once we compromise that 87 cents area, what's the next area of support we do have? That would be around the area of about $1.21. So anywhere from freaking 87 cents all the way up, the only area we would counter a little bit of resistance would be at about $1.19. So Phantom does seem like it is pretty bullish right now, and I'm sure you cats can see at the bottom of the screen the RSI is entailing that we are overheated on this token. Would I be buying Phantom right now? Not really. I wouldn't be doing that for the reason being that it is overheated. For you, a lot of you cats that don't want to do the AVAX route, and again, I have to say this is not financial advice. You may want to hold on to your dry powder and wait for that incoming dip that we are going to get with Bitcoin of the fourth portion of the Elliott wave. And that would be the best time to possibly freaking toss some dinero at freaking Bitcoin. And the thing about Bitcoin and Ethereum right now as well is that I had been wanting for a lot of you cats to get it in about $2,200 for the ETH side. Would I recommend that you get into Ethereum right now? Again, I will recommend that we do wait for a dip before you do Ape-In, and then I would use that Ethereum to go ahead and use it to cultivate some more of my crypto bags, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at the chat. See what the chat is entailing. Not much new data on the chat. So now, one of the things that I do on this channel, and this is shout out to the late Kevin Samuels. He did get me a lot into fragrance. So we are going to cover the fragrance of the day. And one of my favorite houses, believe it or not, but when I do buy from this house, I try to buy older batches of the fragrance on Facebook Marketplace, for the reason being that it no longer lasts, or the new formulation no longer lasts. Creed, House of Creed, great house, man. They had a great reputation, and I think the Creeds are from France. And these cats ended up selling that brand to a corporate entity. And anytime you end up getting that, what happens to the quality of the fragrance? It pretty much goes to freaking crap. So one of the fragrances that I really did like with Creed was Creed Silver Mountain Water. And it had a very, very nature-esque type vibe, man. You had some citrus, some woods, man, and it smelled good on a windy day, bro, especially when it was hot, and something that you could use during the freaking during the high heat, especially here in Texas. But one of my problems with freaking Creed is that the damn bottles run for $325, and I have no problem paying for a quality freaking fragrance. But where I have a problem is if I spend big money on freaking fragrance and the motherfucker only lasts for about 30 freaking minutes, dude, then you didn't really buy a fragrance. You bought a bottle that you can freaking smell all freaking day if you wanted to, but you can't really freaking say that you got a fragrance when you spray it on and then it dissipates in 30 minutes. So I've been looking for clones that actually last longer than the original Creed freaking the silver one, and I ended up getting freaking Club de Nuit Sillage from the House of Armave. Now, I will say that this does last a lot longer, man, and the bottle in itself is beautiful, as you guys can tell, man, but it is a freaking fingerprint magnet. And one of the setbacks about Armave is that if you're going to put this sucker on, you may offend some people. So I would recommend that you spray this on 30 minutes prior to anywhere you go. And then after the dry down, or after it dries down after 30 freaking minutes, it will smell a lot better. It does have like a little bit of a chemically vibe, and I get that because it is a clone house compared to the original Creed freaking Silver Mountain Water. But it does smell pretty damn nice. Now, would I give this freaking doggone fragrance a 10? I would say no. It's not a 10. But I would give it a solid 7.5. I really do like how this smells on a windy day. And you can get the sucker for about $40. There is another house out there. It's not Armave. It's another one. And I'll end up buying the bottle. I do want to end up buying one of those bottles as well. Hopefully, it doesn't smell as chemically as this one. But this one does last, and it does smell good. On average, on my skin, I pulled off maybe about 6 or 7 hours with this sucker. So it does smell freaking nice, and it's great for hot summer days or as we approach freaking spring, and it's something you can rock during spring break. Now, I had this one female on YouTube was saying that it smells very juvenile. I can't really agree with her. I think she's just saying that for the fact that it's a clone house and it's a little bit cheaper than Creed freaking Silver Mountain Water. But my problem is paying $325 freaking dollars when I could put that into a freaking crypto, make freaking more X's on it, and the damn fragrance don't even freaking last. You know what I'm saying? Again, being redundant, I'm not going to pay $300-$400, man, and the shit don't freaking last. So hence why I went with this one, because it does freaking last. Or maybe I can end up finding an old batch of the original freaking Creed Silver Mountain Water. And I know Nellyville's liking this shit because he's saying facts, bro. Now, Nellyville, have you ever smelled Creed Silver Mountain Water? That shit smells amazing, bro. It smells a lot like this one. You know what I'm saying? But again, I have a problem when the damn fragrance doesn't freaking last. You know what I'm saying? All right, monkeys. Now that we covered the fragrance of the day, let's move on to the meme coin of the day. And I know you cats are dying to hear about freaking Pepe. And let's put this sucker on the daily, son. Pepe's current value is at approximately 4 zeros, or is that 5 zeros? That's 5 zeros and an 8-9. Now, I was looking at Pepe pump to the upside. We are getting a little bit of scaffolding here. We did get a little bit here, man, on about freaking February 29th. Then we rallied for about 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And then we pulled back a little bit more on about March 5th. And then we rallied, we pulled back, we rallied, and then we pulled back. I would just like to see the freaking pullbacks be a little bit more volatile to the downside as we rally back up, because that creates more support and resistance. Now, on the Fibonacci level, we are here at the 1 mark, and I was kind of hoping we'd get up over here to the 1.618 mark, which would exactly make us eliminate a zero and put us at a 137. Now, as you guys can tell by our RSI, for you cats that don't know, and let me explain this to you guys, especially for you boots that have no freaking idea as to how the relative strength index works. The best time to buy a token is when you pull your cursor over the halfway point and you get to this 50 mark here. If this purple line, or whichever color of line you get when you pull up the RSI, is up overheated over here, that's not really a good time to buy and hold. You want to wait for a pullback, get below over this 50 mark, and that's a time which would be a good time to buy. Now, if you look at the RSI over here, which we had around February the 4th, if we go back to the chart and we see what the value was at on about February the 4th, which I think was this day, we were at approximately, what's that? 6 zeros and an 8862. And then we ended up rallying pretty damn hardcore. You know what I'm saying? Now, I was reviewing the market cap on this sucker on doggone Dex Screener, and Dex Screener gives you a lot more data about this shit. I think the market cap on this bad boy is about 3 billion ballpark. You know what I'm saying? Can it get anywhere to where freaking SHIB is at? I would say yes, it can. And this may be a copy of what happened in 2021 with Shiba Inu. Maybe. I'm not sure 100%. The team does seem pretty damn dedicated. And as of late, they haven't really rugged us. So that's always a positive thing. But what I went ahead and I activated my Bollinger Bands. And I looked at the chart and I was like, you know what, man? When we were up over here, I would like for us to go all the way up over here to the 3rd standard deviation of the freaking Bollinger Band. And anytime you make contact with that standard deviation, what ends up happening? You end up freaking shrinking to the downside. And I was like, you know what, man? I got a feeling Illuvium's going to pump. So when we were about right over here, I went ahead and I sold half of my bag of Pepe. And I used that half to buy a good amount of Illuvium. But I didn't want to get completely out of the freaking Pepe token, because I do understand this may be, I'm not saying that it will. And this is not financial advice. This may be the doggone freaking Shiba Inu for 2024 of what happened in 2021. You know what I'm saying? Now, the area we can pull up to, and this was a Fibonacci retracement I did. Shout out to Agent J from the DGen Roundtable. We can push up all the way over here to about 4 zeros and a 3-4. Of course, I'm not saying in the immediate time frame, but it could be that we do reach that after the Bitcoin halving. So I would say in a little bit over a month. I'm not saying it will happen that way. Now, I tried looking for 20-day cycles on this bad boy, and this is what I came up with. And it's difficult to annotate this one because, dude, it's doing a lot of freaking rallying. We got a low here on about February the 21st. And if we push it out to the current day that we're at about day 18. So it would not surprise me that we come back down on day 21, which would be February 13th or 14th. We come back down on this Fibonacci area of about 5 zeros and a 709, 703826. So 5 zeros and a 70. It would not surprise me we start doing that. And it's looking like it does want to do that. And it does want to come back down here and use this area of support. Now, we did break the all-time high for freaking Pepe. Pepe's all-time high was at approximately five zeros and a 5.4. So we're actually in price discovery right now for you cats that don't know. Let's look at the EMA ribbon on this sucker, and we do have a shitload of support at the bottom side over here of about 0.5 on the Fibonacci retracement. So it may be that we'll retrace a little bit and then we'll come back up to the upside. So since I already covered what I did with Pepe and what I used it for, let's move on to the Illuvium chart. And I'm hoping a lot of you guys ended up buying a good amount of Illuvium at the bottom. It is one of the freaking games within the crypto space that I think is going to do pretty damn well as we freaking approach, as we continue with this bull run, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at ILV, son. Where is ILV at? And dude, I am so glad my ass bought some ILV. And when I bought it was on this day here, which was March 8th. And I got it for about 119 bucks. Next day, boom, Giga Chat rally, son. We ended up getting a freaking bullish engulfing candle. And it does seem we're going to continue going to the upside. We did compromise the recent high of about doggone 122 bucks on this fifth portion of the Elliott wave that it did conduct within the time frame of about October 20th, 2023 to about doggone November 27th, 2023. And then we ended up getting an ABC correction. We came to the downside and we continued rallying to the upside. Now, I have mentioned this story before. Unfortunately, Coinbase no longer has this feature, but majority of my Illuvium, believe it or not, I got it for free. You're like, Boogie, how the hell did you get freaking Illuvium for free? And I told all my homies about this, but nobody freaking paid me attention on this shit. Coinbase had a feature on their Coinbase debit card. Anytime you swipe that debit card, they would pay you back 4% at XLM. And if you were a Coinbase One member, which I am a Coinbase One member, and pretty much they reduce all the fees on the exchange with you, with the exception of Ethereum fees if you're trying, or any other of the token fees when you're trying to remove the coins off the exchange. I went ahead and I swapped it for Illuvium every time I made a freaking purchase. And there was no fees for me doing that. And that's how I ended up with a free bag of Illuvium. And I used that as an opportunity to freaking get my position in ILV. And it was only as of recent with my Pepe profits that I used that dinero to go ahead and buy more freaking ILV. Now, these opportunities are still out there. And one of the options that you do have is if you cats go over to Gemini, yes, the exchange, I think it's, I don't know if it's Gemini.com. Let me do a little Google search because I know you cats are going to want to know this shit. And I got a little bit of alpha similar to what I told you guys about freaking doggone Coinbase with their free XLM that pays you back 4%. You know what I'm saying? And here it is. It's called Gemini.com. I'm going to share this in the chat with you cats. And there you go, Gemini.com. This is an exchange you can go to. And if you guys end up going there, if you do have a credit score, yeah, and Brown said, I remember when Illuvium was 50 bucks. And if you guys do have a good credit score, and that credit score is about, I think it's a 720 or a 760, and you apply for their Gemini credit card, it's a metal card that they end up giving you. And you can get paid back 3% on all your restaurant purchases and 4% back on all your freaking gas purchases for your vehicle. So especially you cats, for you ranchers out there that like rocking a freaking diesel pickup, an F-350, or a freaking one of those big ass Ram trucks, or those giant ass freaking 2,500 freaking Silverados and shit. You know what I'm saying? You fill up your freaking gas tank. Every time you fill up your freaking gas tank, you get paid back 4% of whichever token you want from the exchange. And I'm using that sucker to go ahead and get me some doggone freaking free Phantom. And every purchase I make it with that damn credit card and I get paid back. Now, I would only advise this. No, I'm not advising. This is not financial advice. I would only do this if I am disciplined with my finances, because Dave Ramsey says this all the time. And I originally came from the Dave Ramsey people. He never advocates for anybody using any credit cards because majority of people are not disciplined in paying off their credit card on time. They become complacent, and then the interest rates stack up. Now, mind you, the interest rates on the Gemini credit card are at about 26 to 28%. So if your ass don't pay it off, man, that 3%, that 4% you're making on Phantom don't mean shit till Phantom pumps. You know what I'm saying? So I would only recommend that for cats that have the discipline to pay their shit off and are not significantly in debt. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the options you do have. Now, mind you, if you do use it to cultivate some Phantom, you're not going to get Phantom on the Phantom network. It is going to be on ERC20. So it will be on the Ethereum network, if anything. And you will have to pay an Ethereum gas fee when you're trying to get it off the exchange. Usually what I do, I wait for my freaking Phantom bag to fill up after I made a couple of freaking months of purchases and stuff like that. And then I go ahead and I migrate those freaking tokens to my freaking MetaMask wallet or to my freaking Coinbase wallet or to my Exodus wallet. You know what I'm saying? So that may be a good option for you cats. You know what I'm saying? So let me see if I needed to show you anything else on the Illuvium chart. Yeah, let's go back to the Illuvium chart. Go back to the ILV chart, son. The Illuvium chart, of course, as I was stating, current values are about $148. I am hoping that we do get a little bit of a pullback so we can create that scaffolding I really like. But the next area we do want to compromise is here at about $182. Now, let's look at the Bollinger Bands. The area where we can shrink back, which would be the third standard deviation of this Bollinger Band, is this little white line here. That white line, whenever your freaking candles touch that little white line, you do end up shrinking back. And that value would be at approximately $172. So I'm hoping we do go touch that and we do retrace a little bit, and then we compromise this area of about 103. And then the next position we do need to beat is 283, if anything, monkeys. Let's see how this sucker looks on the weekly, son. Vamos a ver. Let me turn this sucker off. And look at this shit, man. So once we get to this area here of about 214, we don't have a lot of resistance all the way up to $656. So food for thought. Hence why I like scaffolding, man. So once we beat this area here of about doggone 178 to about 188, the next area we do need to beat here is about 317. So those basically are the only two areas we do need to compromise, aside from the ones I just mentioned earlier, so we can end up rallying all the way up over here to the shoulder of this canyon, which would be about $656. Now, the other day I had Agent J on here, and we went ahead and we did a little Fibonacci retracement on this bad boy, and this is actually going to blow your freaking mind. Let's put it on the daily. For a lot of you cats that are new to my channel, we could end up going all the way up over here to about $8,600. And you're thinking, no way, Boogie. No way. That's not going to happen, bro. We're not going to go all the way from $148 to $8,000. If you look at the all-time high, man, for freaking Illuvium, you're talking about almost $2,000. So that is very possible, if anything. And that's actually being just bullish. If things get really bullish, man, we can go up over here to about $8,000 or almost $9,000. But I think easy, we can achieve the $4,500 mark. I don't think that's going to be outside of the realm of possibilities, especially with GameFi adoption, if anything. And I do think that Illuvium's probably going to do a lot better than Axie Infinity. For you cats that don't know, last cycle, Axie Infinity, I think, was the hottest game there was out there. But Illuvium is a game that's got 3 or 4 games in it. So, dude, sky's the limit on this bad boy, if anything, cats. So I just wanted to share that data with you guys. That's some good shit that you guys can look at, man. So I was telling my homies the past couple of days, man, the day that I bought some ILV, I was telling like, dude, Illuvium's not a bad freaking token to get, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it runs pretty damn hard. Now, for you cats that don't know, my channel has been throttled a little bit because I have these beautiful tools in the back, which YouTube doesn't really like. And because I talk a lot of shit sometimes, because talking shit's funny. You know what I'm saying? Do me a favor. like the channel, share this video with your homies, share it on Twitter, give this video a like. I see 38 people here in the chat. I should at least have freaking 35 likes. So please give the video a freaking like, share the video with your homies, so my data gets out there, and I'm more motivated to keep giving you guys this freaking data on here, which it did take me about 2 years to learn, with the help of Charlie, Agent J from the DGen Roundtable, and Ejaz A1 Crypto. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's look at the freaking chat. And we got my homie Zenith here. Boogie, are you taking a victory lap over the ILV gains? I'm taking a victory lap over the freaking Pepe gains, son. I'm taking a victory lap over buying freaking Illuvium a day before it pumped, if anything, man. Perfect timing, if anything, you know what I'm saying? And we got my homie here, Brown, which I had presented earlier. I remember when Illuvium was $50, dude. I remember when Illuvium was $32, or I think it was $34, homie. You know what I'm saying? And Zenith concurs with you. Those were the days. Sub 50 ILV was good to go for this world. And a lot of people freaking forgot about ILV, man. They completely ignored it. No, I understand, man, if you were trying to fill up your freaking pulse chain bag. I understand that, man. And you're only limited to a certain amount of tokens. I was torn between Illuvium and Solana, and I'm like, dude, I know Solana's VC back, bro, but I know a lot of cats, bro, that are going to want to get into the freaking gaming space, if anything. So they tore it the frick up, bro. And they've made their gains by getting that freaking ILV. And we got my amigo here, Karn. Great stuff, Boogie. FTM and ILV got me sleeping pretty good. Hey, I'm glad you're part of the channel, homie. I'm glad you came over, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I see that you're rocking that Magic Cat. If anything, if you cats don't know, dude, and I only have one Magic Cat, bro. I had so many opportunities to buy 3 Magic Cats during the bottom of the bear run. I remember Magic Cats were about $110, bro, at the bottom, bro, for the floor. And the really nice ones were like about $400. For you guys that don't know, Magic Cats can be used to boost your yield on Spooky Swap. And I think you were permitted to use them on, what's that one, Byte Masons one, Reaper.farm? You were permitted to stake them as well, along with your freaking tokens, and gain extra yield, if anything. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Zenith over here. It says, plus, that's damn near retirement range. Hey, yeah, I concur, homie. We're going to be partying Hunter Biden style part if ILB hits 8,000, man. Well, we're going to be partying, homie, but I don't know if I want to party like Hunter Biden parties, dog. Freaking crack and shit. Nah, that's not my flavor, son. I'll stick to tequila, bro. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? All right, cats. Now, we did cover Pepe. We did cover freaking ILV. We covered a little bit of AVAX and Bitcoin. Let's move on a little bit onto the freaking Hex freaking chart, if anything, homie. You know what I'm saying? And I think what's going to end up happening with Hex, I think EHEX is going to end up freaking pumping pretty damn hard. Now, one of the things that I was doing, bro, and I regret doing this shit, man. I was doing monthly rolling stakes on a good portion of my EHEX. So I've got a stake coming out later on next month, bro. And I'm just hoping, bro, that my damn freaking stake fees aren't at least about $4,000 to $5,000, bro, for Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? I do think EHEX is going to do a little bit better than freaking PHEX, because it's easier to onboard people onto EHEX, if anything. Hex's current value is exactly at about 1 cent. And it does seem like it wants to retrace and bounce a little bit here at about 98% of a penny before we do end up rallying to the upside. Now, one thing I am noticing, a small trend that I am noticing on this sucker, and I wish I had my freaking channel tool here prep for you cats. But let's go ahead and grab my freaking doggone, trend line here. I am noticing, of course, I'm not making it perfect for you cats. And let me increase the size of this pixel. Let's change this color to freaking yellow. I am noticing that Hex is slowly grinding to the upside. And as it grinds to the upside and uses this green line as support along with this yellow line, we will eventually come up over here to about 1 penny and 33% of a penny. Now, for you cats that don't know, myself and Agent J, we were on stream the other day and we looked at some of the freaking LPs that freaking the cats over there at BankX ended up setting up for EHEX. And those LPs were set at about 1 cent, I think 1.3 cents, all the way to about 3.2 cents. And those are walls and barriers that automatically trigger whenever we get to that price point on EHEX, and it will end up dumping into the market, which I have no problem with. I mean, that'll give me an opportunity to buy more EHEX, but that may be the final hurdle we do need to beat before EHEX starts rallying to the upside. Let me see if I can access it for you cats so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Vamos a ver. Uniswap.info. Here we go. Yeah, I think I do have it up. Let me get it for you cats so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. What was it? 1.25 million. Here you go. And let me show you cats what I mean. Shout out to Agent J for this. Now, you can go over here to info.uniswap.org, click the HEX token, and you'll see the HEX ETH pair. So currently, we are here at this red line here. And as you guys see this little window that pops up, you know what I'm saying? Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. $1.92 ETH. Let me check the other one, cats. Liquidity. Here it is. This is the one I was talking about. It's a HEX USDC pair, monkeys. So as you guys can see, all these freaking lines that you see here, or all these bars, are areas where HEX is going to end up triggering and dumping into the market. And we're talking about EHEX here because Uniswap doesn't have the pulse chain option yet. And the first area here is at about 1 penny and 21 cents. And that's about 3.4 million HEX, all the way up over here to about 3 cents and 2% of a penny. And that's going to be 6.18 million HEX. So as we go up in the market with EHEX, all these freaking bars are going to start dumping into the market. And it tells you the value right here. For example, the first area, we're at about 3.41 million HEX. You know what I'm saying? And you can see these little lines here. The other one's going to be 3.39. And it's slowly, gradually grinding to the upside. Now, what would end up freaking pissing me the frick off is if this cat ends up freaking pulling this damn liquidity wall and he ends up pushing it further down the line to about 10 cents. So we start getting that resistance at 10 cents. And hopefully he doesn't watch this video. I don't think he will, because my channel's only got 145 subscribers. So the alpha you do get here will not get reiterated a lot into the rest of the crypto space, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he doesn't watch this video. But those are the areas that we do need to compromise before HEX can really start running and reach its all-time high again. Now, I've heard different predictions on the value of both HEXs combined, from $1.20 to about $1.09 to about 98 cents. It would not surprise me if we do get up to about $1.20, if anything, with both HEXs combined. Now, I do know that I don't have PHEX here on the chart, but I will freaking save that for tomorrow's stream, which I am going to have with my homie Angry Twinkie. We're going to cover the PHEX chart tomorrow. So all these liquidity walls really signify is they're great buying opportunities, if anything. So I'm going to load up on some dry powder, and I'm going to try to top up more on my EHEX. And again, I do think EHEX is going to lead the way with compared to all the other tokens. Now, come November, if Richard Hart does beat the SEC and the case does get dropped, because the SEC doesn't really have a case on them, but they are known to drag their feet, then we're probably going to see freaking a listing of some type of the Pulse Chain coins, or one of the Pulse Chain coins, whether it's PulseX, Pulse Chain. And it would not surprise me that we get that listing on crypto.com, because crypto.com is the first one to freaking list tokens, if anything, you know what I'm saying, which would probably streamline the process for us wanting to buy any of the freaking Pulse Chain tokens that's Pulse Chain native. Now, Crypto Coffee does have a video out there, and I think he did the video about a week ago, how to onboard onto freaking Pulse Chain by utilizing Arbitrum instead of using Ethereum to get Pulse Chain, if anything. And I think that's a good way to onboard. But I think the simplest way for a lot of the normies that are going to be coming into the market is by them getting that token on an exchange. And that's probably the best opportunity we do have, cats. You know what I'm saying? So now that we've covered the data on Hex, let's move on over to freaking Pulse Chain. Let's see what Pulse Chain entails. And a lot of the things that you guys saw over here on freaking Hex, if anything, is probably going to translate a little bit over to Pulse Chain as well. And what I mean by that, we are creating that sideways channel. Let's see if I can find that damn tool so I can show you cats exactly what I mean, man. Because that channel really does make a psychological difference, especially when you see it, man. You know what I'm saying? Here he goes, parallel channel. So I'm sure you guys can see that the trend is going in a diagonal fashion up into the right, a diagonal fashion on the up into the right. So if we grab this tool right here, pull it up this way, boom, and we pull this sucker up this way, and when we pull it back a little bit, boom, you can see that we're within this channel. You know what I'm saying? And it does seem we're continuing to rally to the upside. Current value of about freaking Pulse Chain right now is 3 zeros and a 1694. Now, as we grind to the upside, I think one of the toughest areas that we are going to get is about here of about 3 zeros and a 2-3 and about 3 zeros and a 2-3 before we can beat the top portion of Pulse Chain, which would be approximately 3 zeros and a 2-8. And after that, we'll rally hardcore into freaking price discovery. You know what I'm saying? Now, which day are we on our Pulse Chain 60-day or 20-day cycles? We did get a dip here at about day 13. So if I grab this measuring tool and I pull this sucker out all the way to about day 14, which is slightly when we can get a dip, that day would be March 21st. Now, let's say Pulse Chain continues on its trend and it continues to the upside, if anything, and we go all the way up to about freaking day 21. You're talking about March 28th. So again, next area we do have to beat 3 zeros and a 1-9, and then after that we do have to go up to about 3 zeros and a 2085. Now, earlier in the show, you guys saw that we ended up on Elliott Wave portion number 4. When Bitcoin retraces, we could possibly see Pulse Chain dump a little bit. So for you cats that want to get into the Pulse Chain ecosystem, that would be the best time. Now, if you're FOMOing really hard, man, and you really need to get a little bit of Pulse Chain, let's say, this is not financial advice, by the way. If you cats really want to freaking get into Pulse Chain and you need to ape in right freaking now because you can't handle yourself. If you guys read the book Market Wizards and you read freaking Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, a trick that you can use, let's say you have $1,000 and you really want to get into Pulse Chain and you want to throw those $1,000 into Pulse Chain, I would not buy it right now. To get rid of a little bit of my FOMO, I would end up dropping about maybe $100 or $200 if it was me. And this is not financial advice. So I can get rid of that FOMO a little bit. And when it does dip, when we do get that fourth portion of the Elliott Wave on the Bitcoin cycle, then I would throw in the rest of my dry powder into Pulse Chain. And that way I can have my position into Pulse Chain. Mind you, it's still a little bit early. We have not compromised the top on it. So right now, still not a bad time to get Pulse Chain, if anything, cats. Current market cap's about 1.28 billion. And I'm wanting to see that sucker grow. It will eventually grow a little bit more. I do think Richard Hart will probably start streaming soon, if anything. I think he will, because he's been a little bit of indirectly alluding to that on his freaking on his Twitter. So make sure you cats follow freaking RH on his Twitter, because he's always dropping alpha on that shit. And I'm saying as to what he's going to do next. Now, as of recent, for you cats that like watching that freaking on-chain data and shit like that, man, there's one guy called Money Gang Crypto, and he is a Hexican. He's the one that's been covering what's going on with the wallets. And as of late, I do know that RH did end up buying the top of freaking Ethereum. Well, it's assumed that it's RH. It is the OA, or it's one of the SAC wallets that's doing it. So he never reveals who owns that wallet. And I'm assuming he's going to probably use that to gain some yield and end up pumping our bag. So whatever yield he does get from staking any of that freaking Ethereum, or if he uses the Ethereum in itself just to freaking pump our bags, that wouldn't surprise me that that continues to rallying us. Now, if you guys remember the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, I've been hearing people talk some shit. Well, Richard Hart, he's using that freaking his own money to go ahead and pump Pulse Chain. So none of the shit's really freaking grassroots. Well, if you really think about it, man, if you read those other books that I had mentioned, especially Remnants of a Stock Operator, you notice what the whales do is they end up rallying the price of a certain token. So it ends up getting momentum. And as the momentum rises, then they pull the freaking original investment they had made on there and they dump on your heads. But I don't think Richard Hart's really going to do that aspect because that's not what he did with EHEX. But I do think he is trying to use that method to pump up Pulse Chain and let the momentum carry us to the upside, which is a smart move. And I think it incentivizes people to hold on to their Pulse Chain, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So since we covered a little bit of freaking Pulse Chain, let's move on to one of the freaking tokens that's been ripping to the upside that a lot of cats were freaking sleeping on, and that is freaking doggone PulseX. And you can see we got this Giga Chad candle about freaking 2 days ago, which was on March 8th. And how much was that freaking candle? How much did it end up rallying to the top side from its creation? Dude, in 1 day, it rallied 82%. And what I'm really liking about this, and I know I've been saying this all freaking night long, man, is that we're getting that fucking badass scaffolding. You know what I'm saying? So we pumped up here, we came down this way, we pumped up here, came down this way, we pumped up, and we're getting these two little red candles, which means, boom, then we'll rally up again, if anything. You know what I'm saying? It would not surprise me if we come down here and meet this area of support with these two other candles before we end up coming back up. This is always healthy for a token. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on PulseX, and I think PulseX is going to do pretty damn well. Let's see if we find 20-day cycles on this bad boy. Let's see where we can end up getting a dip on this sucker for you cats that want to get a little bit of freaking PulseX. Now, I would say that the bottom was possibly around here. No, it doesn't seem like it's following any freaking trends for 20-day cycles. You know what I'm saying? Let's look it up. Boom, 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 boom. So, okay. The low was about, let me move this freaking tool over here. So the low was at about 4549 and then 45. So 4559, 4558. So it does seem that the low was approximately on February 23rd, and we're currently approaching the new low, which would be approximately any day now, and it may end up being around March 14th to about March 15th. That may be the day we hit another bottom before we continue starting a new cycle on frickin' PulseX. And I would apply the same methodology on PulseX if I was to get a little bit of PulseX. I would wait for that frickin' Pulse Chain dip or that Bitcoin dip on the fourth portion of the Elliott wave before I even ape into this sucker. Again, if you guys are adamant that you need to get some right fricking now because you can't handle your fricking emotions, and I get it. That's one of the things a lot of fricking traders end up fricking having to fricking deal with, their emotions, is put in a little bit right now, man. If you're going to do $1,000, this is not financial advice, by the way. You can do $1,000, $100 right now. And then as the market fricking ends up dumping, then you put in the rest. You know what I'm saying? That would be a smart way of doing it. Now, if we look at our MACD, moving average convergence divergence, for a lot of you boots that are here, or a lot of you freaking noobs that are here that don't understand jack shit about technical analysis, I'll go ahead and break it down for you cats. Whenever you get this blue line that's above the red line, that means we're rallying. Whenever you get the red line above the blue line, that means that we're slightly dumping. And I'm sure you guys can see that right here with this line that's up over here. And you can see that the market ended up dumping a little bit this way. And right now, freaking PulseX is ripping to the upside, and you can see there's a clear separation between both. Of course, eventually you'll end up getting a red line that crosses over the blue line, and that'll entail that the market is coming to the downside. Now, if we activate our moving averages, you can see that we're above all of them. The closest one to us is the support area of about 3 zeros and a 6382. And that's going to be the 10-day moving average. That would be the immediate time frame where we could end up getting a freaking area of support. Now, we did break past the Bollinger Band, and we pierced past the Bollinger Band, and it seems that we're retracing into the Bollinger Band, if anything, cats. Let's see how this sucker looks on the weekly, man. And we can, on the weekly, we can look at the freaking all-time high on this bad boy. Let me turn off all this other shit. Now, the area that we do need to beat exactly at the highest is about 3 zeros and a 1425. Once we beat that, then you can clearly say that we're going into price discovery, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So a small retracement down to the downside would not be a bad thing. I would like to see that because we create that scaffolding and that support. But again, area we do need to beat is approximately here. 3 zeros and a 1391. You know what I'm saying? And then we got my amigo here, freaking Mr. DCC. Zero. It's all going to zero. Every single freaking coin's going to go to zero, including Bitcoin and Hex. Yeah, homie. I'll still be buying if it goes down to zero, man. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Zenith. Looking forward to seeing Coffee's haircut. That's hilarious, man. All right, cats. Make sure you guys like this video. I'm hoping you guys like the alpha. Again, I've got 40 people watching. I would like to get 40 freaking likes. Beat up the algorithm on YouTube, man. Show these monkeys that you are a supporter of the Crypto Boogie channel. Subscribe to my channel. And I will see you cats tomorrow here around the same time frame. No, a little bit earlier, maybe 8 p.m. with the Angry Twinkie. We are going to have our regular freaking tacos and kimchi freaking show. Of course, because he's Korean and I'm Mexican. That's why we're choosing that, dude. That's why we're choosing that. All right, cats. Catch you monkeys on the flip side. Share the video.